Hi guys, I'm Kara from Cosplay Creations, co-founder, co-creator. Today we're coming to you with a tutorial on how to make a harness for armors. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Now, we do a Shishomaru armor. I'm sure that any of you who follow us have seen it by this point. It is one of my favorite cosplays. We've actually had to remake my armor due to several attempts the first time to make a harness that just kind of fell apart on me. Now, it's going to be really simple to do. We've actually mastered this technique. The biggest thing that's going to matter is making sure, sorry, my glue gun fell, that you have a high temp glue gun. Now, we have a high temp, low temp. A low temp will work. However, it will not hold as well. So it's super important that you get a high temp glue gun. You can get most of these at your craft stores, Hobby Lobby, Michaels, hell, even Walmart has them, typically under 15, 20 bucks, all right? This is something that I feel no matter whether you're a commissioner or if you buy from commissioners, this is something that you are always going to need. This is something that you should always have because you never know what's going to happen, okay? Now, we have our armor pieces. Again, we are doing this based off the Shishomaru armor pieces today because, well, that's what I'm working on currently. And I know several people have asked for help in rebuilding the harness because we don't sell it with the harness. The harness is something that I feel is something that you yourself should be creating because it's never going to fit as well as if you do it yourself, all right? Anytime that I buy armor pieces, I prefer having them without the harness because I'm just going to remove the harness and make me one anyway, okay? So this is what we're working with today. All right, these are already, sorry, it's not as tight as I was hoping it would be. These are already put together. When we sell them, we have them already put together like this. They're held together with rivets so you can adjust this. This is, again, where your hot glue gun is going to come in handy because you can actually tack this exactly where you want it. Some people want it straight out. Some people want it straight up. Your glue gun will fix it in whatever condition or position that you want it in, okay? So we have our armor pieces. We have our glue gun. You're also going to need elastic, all right? Now, any of you who know the Shishomaru cosplay, it is white kimono. It's got a black piece that goes under the armor. So what we're doing today is we're using white elastic because I'm going to have elastic going over the shoulders here for comfort. Now, around the waist, okay, we're going to have black webbing, all right? You can get black webbing online, possibly even in local stores. I know I couldn't find any here, but I live in the middle of bumfuck nowhere. So black webbing. Because I'm going to have that black piece underneath so I don't want it seen, all right? I would suggest if you're doing this, keep in mind what color you're wearing under it, all right? You don't want to have bright purple straps on your white outfit, okay? So keep this in mind when you're working on stuff. Now, on top of using the webbing and the elastic, you're going to need some of these, all right? I probably should have already had these opened, okay? These are going to be your fasteners. You're going to need one for each side, all right? Unless you only want to do one. That's up to you. If you just want to do it on one side so you can tighten it and go, that's great. I would suggest, however, doing one on each side. That way you get it, you can adjust where the armor sits properly. So it's still tight, but it's sitting in the right place. Okay, so you're going to need a couple of those. Make sure that the fasteners that you get are the right size for the webbing that you get. All right, again, those can be gotten at any hobby store, any crafting store, Michaels, Hobby Lobby, Joann's may have him. I'm not real sure. I don't have a Joann's here, guys. Sorry. All right. On top of those, you're going to need a measuring tape. All right. I would suggest a fabric measuring tape. This is something, especially if you get commissions done on the regular, you should have one of these. I don't care if you don't have anything crafting in your house. You should have one of these because this is the best way to measure yourself when it comes to clothing. Okay. Now, you're going to need this because we need to figure out how far you need on each side and across your shoulders, all right? I've already pre-measured mine to save you guys the effort of watching me fight with it, all right? I did it in my kimono. That was amusing to watch, I'm sure. Now, you're going to need a pair of scissors and a Dremel. If you don't have a Dremel, a low-grit sandpaper will work. What I mean by Dremel is one of these guys. We actually have two different versions. We have the wireless and the corded. However, I can't get this one to turn on today, so I already did mine with my corded one because my cord won't reach this far. All right, so Dremel or low grit sandpaper. I also started doing it with a 60 grit. That was working. 25, 40 grit, these are also going to work. The rougher the paper, the faster it goes. All right, do not try and do it with 120 grit because you'll never get it done. Okay, that is for polishing, not real sanding. Now, what you're going to want to do, and again, I've already measured myself with this, so I don't have to worry about screwing this part up while I'm doing it on camera. Okay? you're going to put your armor on. Now, I know, obviously, it's not going to sit right because it doesn't have your harness in. This is where you put it wherever you want it to be, okay? This is where my armor is supposed to sit. I know they look like spiky boobs. I hear it all the time. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to take the first inch, okay? This is where your glue is going to go. So you take the first inch and you leave it there. You measure, this thing doesn't want to work with me, from that first inch back, all right, to about an inch in on your back piece, all right? Now, okay, super easy. You're going to want at least an inch on each end to make sure that you have room to glue it properly. You're going to do this on both sides. Now, you're also going to do this on the top. If you have someone to help you, I would suggest, especially on this piece, getting someone's help. I'm hoping I did mine right because I have no one here to help me right now. Okay? So, again, go about an inch down and measure from there. Same thing front and back. Okay? Now, if you ordered from us and you gave us measurements, okay, for across your shoulder, those measurements should be fairly close to what you're going with here. All right? If it makes it easier for you, especially doing these side ones, measure yourself fully around, all right? Measure yourself fully around on your bust where it sits. Now, you're going to take this measurement, you're going to subtract, oh my God, math, I know. If you subtract from the end point of where your shoulder piece is, across, all the way to the end over here, to where you want your straps to sit, all right? Oh, I missed a spot. Look at that. I just realized I screwed this up, guys. On mine, not yours. You're fine. Okay? Now, did I do that on both? I did do that on both sides. Holy crap. I did. I'm going to have to pause and finish this real quick. But now, measure across, subtract in the front and the back. Subtract that number from your whole number, and that is how many inches you are across. Now, when working with webbing, because you're going to have to go through the loops and you have to tighten it, you actually have to cut those in half to do this properly. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to add probably 3 to 3.5 inches. I think I added an extra 3.5 inches on mine to give you a little bit of leeway. You don't want to make it too long because then you just have to trim it down. It's a waste of materials. Okay. Now, when you go to sand this is super important, and you have to sand it. Don't skip this step thinking it's a pain in the ass, because it is, but don't skip this step because you're going to need this step. If you do not sand through the clear coat and through the paint and through the plasti dip and get down to the actual foam that's under here, okay, you are going to have a problem. It will peel off, it will tear off, and it will not be pretty. This is something we found out when I did this last time, because I was like, oh, sanding's not that important. Sanding is important, guys. Super, super, super important. Okay, so once you sand those down, you're going to need 4 sand points on each piece of armor, front and back, which is what I totally screwed up, and I only did 2 on each. So I'm going to pause real quick, and I'm going to do that. At this point, get your 4 pieces sanded. You're going to want 2 on the top, on the front and the back, and then 2 towards the bottom, or the midway point in the front, because of how narrow this one is. You're going to want it wherever you want that strap to come across. With this particular armor, because it's so narrow in the front, there's not a whole lot of give, okay? I would suggest in the back doing the top pieces at the top, doing the side pieces at the bottom. Just that way they're not overlapping and interconnecting. You don't have issues. All right, guys, I'm back. I had to go get a glue stick. Sorry. Now, as you can see here, hopefully. All right. See how I have 4 squares here? Same thing on my front piece. 4 dark, ugly squares. Now, these are not going to be seen, so don't worry about how the aesthetics look, because no one's going to care. Okay, got my pieces all dremelled out. Again, 4 pieces, front and back, as you guys can see here. Not pretty, but no one's going to see, so no one cares. Now, grab your elastic, all right? Elastic is important. You may want to make sure that you have an extra tube or an extra stick of hot glue. It's probably going to take about a full stick to do the whole thing, and I don't quite have a full stick in here. So, real quick, make sure to layer your hot glue. Oh, come on. Sorry, my thing's being stupid. All right, layer your hot glue underneath. Tap your elastic underneath, or on top of the hot glue, and then you're going to do a thick layer of hot glue, which is running all over the place on me. A a thick layer of hot glue on the entire section that you've dremelled out, or that you've sanded out, okay? Oh. Now, until this dries, it's going to continue moving, but as you can hopefully see here, all right, there's a lot of hot glue there. Be very careful. High temp hot glue will burn your skin off, melts the flesh of babies. You don't want to mess with this stuff if you can avoid it, all right? Make sure it's on there straight, otherwise you're going to hate yourself later. Now, I have used a very thin elastic here. I would have preferred to go thicker, but it's all I could find. Okay? Now, as you guys are watching me lick myself here, there is a reason. If you lick your finger before touching hot glue, it's not going to stick to you and it won't burn. It will be hot, but it won't burn you. Okay? So, also leaves your DNA on everything. So if you're at a crime scene, don't do that. Alright? So, make sure that's nice and cool before moving on. This is kind of time consuming, but it's the same thing with front and back on both sides. Make sure that you are fully covered. You want a nice thick square over the whole thing. Now, while that's drying and doing its thing, I'm going to pause you guys, and I'll be back as soon as I'm ready to move on to the sides, alright? Alright guys, we're back. As you can see, I've changed. I have the armor done now for the harness. I'm going to walk you through the steps I've taken. The glue takes a little while to set, so I wanted to get it finished before coming back to you guys. Now, check it out here. I think it's all dry and set now. Now, keep in mind when doing this, you're going to want to do 3 and 4 layers of hot glue. A layer underneath and a layer times like 4 on top of it to make sure it's good and steady. You're going to want to make it overlap nicely onto the, I don't know how well you can see it here, but my glue goes from here to here, okay? Like all the way up here and all the way down to here. So you want a nice large layer of glue to make sure that it stays, alright? See? It's going to hold. Alright? So now, it's the same thing with the webbing straps. Make sure that when you do these, like I said, make sure to give it extra room, because not only are you going to have to cut it, you can either cut it in half and have your piece in the middle. I tend to like having it right up against here so it's not out and easy for other people to grab so easily. I do it against the back because odds are most pictures that are going to be taken are going to get taken from the front or side angles, so it's less likely to be seen back here, okay? Now, just put them on there. Like I said, take your time. That's super important. A lot of people get impatient and they try and rush the glue process. It takes some time. You're going to have all these little strings. Make sure to get rid of your hot glue strings. I have them everywhere. Okay? Once you get it all cleaned up and you're ready to go, everything is solid, everything is steady. The fun part is putting it on. Now, hopefully I can do this without calling somebody else in here, because that's going to be embarrassing. Alright? Okay, guys. This is it. If you're lucky, I have just zoomed through the other 10 minutes of us trying to fix it. Alright? Real simple, like I said. Hot glue and sand. Sanding. Sanding is your friend. Yeah, we haven't found our right spot for that yet. We're working on it. Alright, but that's it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit us up. We're always happy to answer questions and comment on any concerns you may have. Like I said, honestly, from beginning to end, if I hadn't been recording this, it probably took me about 20 minutes to do the full armor. Again, take your time with the glue, because that's going to be the most important part. Sorry, she's playing with my armor. Cosplaying with friends is important, because sooner or later you're going to try and fit yourself into something that doesn't want to fit properly, okay? That's what she's for. Alright, guys? So, have a good day. Enjoy your new armor that hopefully fits a little better than mine did, because I didn't quite measure myself right. Again, this is why, cosplaying with friends is important. They measure. You just stand there and look cute. Bye, guys.